Generalized anxiety disorder is a long-lasting pattern of excessive worry that doesn't stay tied to one specific situation. People with this form of anxiety often find their mind jumping from one concern to another, even when there is no immediate threat. It can develop gradually over time and is commonly linked with ongoing stress, personality traits, or past experiences that trained the mind to stay on alert. What makes it different is the constant background tension, where everyday life feels heavier than it should, and relaxation becomes difficult even in safe environments. Over time, it can affect sleep, concentration, and physical energy, making normal routines feel mentally exhausting. Panic disorder is characterized by sudden and intense episodes of fear that seem to appear without warning. These episodes, often called panic attacks, can include physical sensations like a racing heart, shortness of breath, dizziness, or chest tightness. Unlike general worry, panic disorder feels immediate and overwhelming, almost like the body is reacting to danger that isn't actually present. It often develops after a person experiences one or more intense panic attacks, and then begins to fear the possibility of having another one. This fear of fear itself becomes a major part of the condition, sometimes changing how a person moves through daily life. Social anxiety disorder is a type of anxiety centered around social situations, where a person feels they might be judged, embarrassed, or negatively evaluated by others. It is not simply shyness, but a deeper fear that can affect speaking, eating, or even being observed in public. This anxiety often develops in early life and can be shaped by past experiences of criticism or rejection. What makes it distinct is how strongly it connects to perception, where the mind constantly predicts negative outcomes in social settings, even when there is no real evidence of them. Over time, this can lead to avoidance of social interaction, even when connection is desired. Specific phobias are intense fears directed at particular objects or situations, such as heights, animals, needles, or flying. Unlike generalized anxiety, the fear here is very focused and often triggers immediate physical and emotional reactions when the object or situation is encountered. These phobias can form after a frightening experience, or sometimes without a clear cause, influenced by learned associations or early conditioning. What defines them is the disproportionate response, where the level of fear is much greater than the actual danger involved. Even thinking about the trigger can sometimes create discomfort or avoidance behavior. Obsessive anxiety is marked by repetitive, intrusive thoughts that feel difficult to control, often creating distress or uncertainty. These thoughts can revolve around safety, cleanliness, morality, or other personal concerns, and they tend to repeat even when a person recognizes they are irrational. This type of anxiety often leads to mental rituals, checking behaviors, or reassurance seeking in an attempt to reduce discomfort. It is different from normal worry because of its persistence and how strongly it demands attention, creating a loop where the mind keeps returning to the same idea despite efforts to move on. Health anxiety is a condition where a person becomes overly focused on the possibility of having a serious illness. Normal body sensations, such as a headache or muscle tension, are often interpreted as signs of something dangerous. This type of anxiety is commonly influenced by exposure to medical information, past health scares, or general sensitivity to physical changes. What sets it apart is the constant scanning of the body for symptoms and the difficulty in accepting reassurance, even after medical confirmation. Over time, this can lead to repeated checking or avoidance of health-related information. Performance anxiety is the fear of not performing well in situations where evaluation is expected, such as exams, public speaking, sports, or work presentations. It is driven by pressure to meet expectations, either from others or from oneself. This anxiety often builds before the actual event, with the mind imagining possible mistakes or failure scenarios. During the performance itself, physical symptoms like shaking, sweating, or mental blanking can appear, making the situation feel even more difficult. It is closely linked to self-worth, where performance feels directly tied to personal value or identity.